Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're unpacking the totally fascinating journey of a town whose changing names perfectly reflect the shifting tides of Philippine history. We're going to be looking at a place that has transformed dramatically over the centuries, adapting through Spanish colonization, American occupation, the Second World War, and modern development. It's a story of survival, identity, and just incredible growth. So how exactly does a hidden refuge from pirate raids completely transform into a bustling tourist hotspot? I mean, it literally sounds like the plot of an adventure novel, right? But this is actual history. Long before it became the widely celebrated destination it is today, this land served a very different, much more urgent purpose for its earliest inhabitants. Okay, let's turn back the clock and dive into Chapter 1, a secluded refuge called Ermita. Way before it even had its modern name, this town started out as a tiny settlement called Ermita, and that name actually comes straight from the Spanish word for a secluded place, which makes total sense because that seclusion was 100% by design. Local records tell us the first folks to settle here were actually families from the coast who made the really tough call to pack up and flee inland. Why? To escape these constant, devastating moral raids. By heading up into the mountains, they basically hit the jackpot. They found safety and incredibly fertile land. That combo was a total game changer, letting them put down roots and turn a makeshift hideout into a real thriving community. As you'd expect, as the settlement grew, they needed some formal organization. So on May 19, 1852, Ermita was officially recognized as a town. And then, not even 2 years later, on March 31st, 1854, they took a massive step and became an independent parish, breaking away from nearby Dumaguete. Local tradition has it that the parish priest, a guy named Father Antonio Ubeda, played a pivotal role here, basically renaming the town Nueva Valencia as a tribute to his own hometown back in Spain. At the same time, the town was dedicated to Our Lady of the Abandoned, who, amazingly enough, remains their patron saint to this very day. Moving right along into the latter half of the 19th century, we hit Chapter 2, Faith, Infrastructure, and Growth. Now, this era really forces us to reframe how we look at historical religious leaders. They weren't just spiritual guides. These guys were literal, hands-on infrastructure developers. Just look at the rapid succession of developments here. We go from basic organization in 1852 to a permanent stone church completed in 1874, and then boom, a public water system built just 4 years later in 1878. We're not just talking about a growing parish anymore. We are looking at the birth of a highly organized, fully functioning civic center. The absolute powerhouse behind this wave of progress was Father Eladio Logroño. He served from 1868 to 1889, and his fingerprints are all over the town. He's the one who spearheaded that enduring stone church. He set up one of the town's first public water systems, brilliantly piping water directly from Maitake Creek straight to a fountain in the town plaza. Working with neighboring leaders, he also helped push through a vital road connecting Valencia and Bacong, which was a huge deal for upland transportation. Oh, and on top of all that, he built the parochial school known today as the Spanish Building. These massive projects absolutely prove that during the Spanish colonial period, the parish was the heart of education, community organization, and foundational infrastructure. But, history loves a plot twist. Welcome to Chapter 3, the Luzuriaga Experiment. So this kicks off what I like to call the name change saga. Picture this, it's 1901, and a member of the Philippine Commission named Jose Riz de Luzuriaga visits the area, making all these big pledges for development support. The municipal leaders are thrilled, right? Eager to show their thanks, they actually propose changing the town's name. In 1905, through Act No. 1330, Nueva Valencia officially becomes Luzuriaga. But, well, decades pass, and those promised improvements kind of fall flat. They just didn't meet the residents' expectations. It basically became a name tied to an unfulfilled promise. Fast forward past the Second World War, and the restored civil government decides they've had enough. Mayor Rudolfo Gonzalez Sr. and the municipal council successfully petition Congress to get their historic identity back. And finally, in 1948, under Republic Act No. 252, they dropped the name Luzuriaga and proudly reclaimed the name Valencia, which they still rock today. Before we jump to the modern day, we really need to look at Chapter 4, War and Resistance. During the really dark days of the Second World War, the town's mountainous terrain became a huge strategic advantage, much like it did for those fleeing coastal families centuries prior. The mountainous barangay of Malabo actually became the headquarters for the free government. It was an absolutely indispensable base for the local guerrilla resistance movement in Negros Oriental against the Japanese occupation. But let's contrast that wartime reality with what's happening today. Those exact same strategic uplands now make Valencia one of the province's most productive agricultural hubs. Plus, it's home to the Pinon geothermal field. Operated by the Energy Development Corporation, this field supplies a massive chunk of vital renewable geothermal energy to the Visayas. From a hidden wartime base to a renewable power hub, that is an unbelievable evolution of the land. And that brings us beautifully into Chapter 5, the modern summer capital. Now we're in the modern era, looking at what Valencia is famous for today among travelers and locals alike. If you ask anyone around, they'll tell you Valencia is the summer capital of Negros Oriental. And why is that? Well, because of its elevated geography. Yep, the very same mountains that provided a refuge and a wartime stronghold. The town enjoys this amazing, cool mountain climate. It is the absolute perfect retreat if you're looking to escape the sweltering lowland heat. This unique geography also translates into a wildly impressive tourism portfolio. People flock here for an incredibly stunning list of natural attractions. I mean, you've got the breathtaking heights of Casaroro Falls, the vividly colored waters at Polongbita Falls, the relaxing, naturally heated waters of Red Rock Hot Spring, and the lush, sprawling forests all around Mount Talinis. It is literally transformed into a total sanctuary for nature lovers. And you know what's really cool? The town isn't just cashing in on its natural beauty. They're actively protecting it. Back in 2007, Valencia was actually recognized as the greenest and cleanest town in Negros Oriental. That's a huge testament to their ongoing commitment to environmental stewardship. They get it. They know their environment is their biggest asset, whether you're talking physically, economically, or historically. As we get ready to wrap things up, we arrive at Chapter 6, Preserving a Historical Identity. I want to be super transparent here about a really fascinating aspect of how we even know all this history. Like a lot of local histories, Valencia's past is kind of like a giant puzzle. We piece it together by blending official government documents, surviving parish logs, and deeply rooted oral traditions. But because 19th century primary records are sometimes incomplete, or were put together decades after the fact, you're going to find some inconsistencies. For instance, historians and locals sometimes bump heads over who exactly first proposed the name Nueva Valencia, or the precise timeline of certain early events. And honestly, that's completely okay. These variations are super common in local history. It just means we need to view certain details as our best interpretations based on the evidence we have, rather than hard, unquestionable facts. It really highlights how history is such a wonderfully messy, human endeavor. So, I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. When our history relies on a blend of fragile memory and incomplete records, how much of the past is an established fact, and how much is a living interpretation? Valencia's incredible journey, from a secluded coastal hideout called Ermita to the Spanish-influenced Nueva Valencia, through the brief Luzuriaga experiment, all the way to the thriving summer capital we know today, is an amazing testament to a community shaped by migration, faith, and serious resilience. It proves that history isn't just something gathering dust in an archive. It's actively shaped by how a community chooses to remember its own journey. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, keep exploring the amazing stories hidden right in your own backyards.